Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Talking Transformers Toys, the show where I and Andy talk about transforming toys that we love. And in this particular episode, we're not going to be talking about a specific toy off the shelf. We're going to be talking about a little bit of toy news because, Andy, we had this booked in several days ago, but it seems like the toy gods have smiled on us because we've just been given a whole load of news. So we thought, for a change, rather than talking about one specific figure, we'd talk about several toys that we don't actually own yet.
Yes, yeah, and we've had these reveals kind of pop up overnight for us as it is in real time where we are,
Mm-hmm.
and it was from the Shizuoka hobby show over in
Mm-hmm.
Japan, and there's been some things that have come out there which for us as Transformers fans are very interesting. Some first looks at things, and I think we'll start off probably by having a little bit of a look at the. Now I have to say this correct. Adamas Machina Predaking. So this is a animation inspired Predaking based on
Mm-hmm.
the appearance in Call of the Primitives and that animation style that we had in that particular episode. What do you think of it, Dave? Because you've had a chance to have a look at it, and I mean, are you a Predaking
Yes.
fan? Has this excited you, or how do you feel about it?
So I've always had this weird thing with the Predacons, which is that I'm not a fan of the Predacons, but I'm a massive fan of Predaking. Like, purely because of how good he looks. And
Yeah,
specifically how good this looks.
yeah,
Like the rest of the Predacons themselves, I can give or take. I mean, they never really had anything to do, really, outside of that one particular episode where Daniel was dreaming. Yeah, this looks absolutely incredible. However, not one that I would see myself necessarily dropping money on because at the end of the day, it looks cool, but it is sort of like a one-off piece. It's not something that I think would necessarily fit within the collection. Having said that though, is this like does this transform at all? Because it looks like it does, but I don't
yeah.
think these do they? They're just model kits.
Right. So we saw kind of I think it was a grey model of this a while back, and there wasn't really much information with it because this is kind of coming from Takara really rather than Hasbro. We know that they've done these Adamas Machina figures. They've done a Rodimus Prime, which does transform and which is based off the Flame Toys licensed model that they had of him. So taking that
Hmm.
kind of design for Rodimus Prime and making it actually transform, and that's actually out. Some people have had theirs and received theirs. I think it's sold out almost everywhere because of how popular it was. We've seen nothing about whether this is transformable, so I'm assuming not. I'm assuming this is more like your Flame Toys type, like you say, model kit, more posable statues. This is how I always think of them, but something more akin to
Hmm.
that. Like you, I think it's a magnificent piece to look at. I mean, I love
Hmm.
the appearance of it in combined mode. And there's one photo in particular where the person who's taking the photo is taking it kind of looking upwards, and you get that kind of statuesque, heroic, well, villainous, I suppose, kind of pose for him, and he just looks incredible. But again, like you said, it's a one-off kind of thing. It's not necessarily something I would probably want to drop what I'm assuming is going to be a fairly sizable amount of money on, just to have it standing on the shelf. Love the way it looks. Love the
Hmm.
appearance of it. I am something of a Predacon fan, but I grew up more on the comics and the toys, so
Yes.
kind of that's the look of Predaking that I normally think of. Um, but yeah, undeniably, it's a magnificent piece. I think if I saw this at TFN or wherever, and you saw this on someone's table, you'd be over there to have a look at it and kind of wowed by it. But would I buy it? Will I kind of want to go in on this? I'm not sure. Maybe if they said it was transformable. Maybe if there was individual members and it was like a
Hmm.
proper combiner team. But I've seen nothing so far that's indicated that.
But apparently, from what I'm looking at here and reading some of the details, or at least trying to get some of the details, there's not a great deal of information out there. I think this thing's only about 12 inches tall.
Ah, so not massive.
So it's not massive from what I can gather. But again, I'm sort of struggling to get a great deal of information out of it here.
Yeah.
But yeah,
There
it
was
seems like.
in one of the news reports I saw for this, they did point out that it's in on display in its combined mode. And I don't
Hmm,
know if they're just pointing, look, it's combined, it's Predaking, or if they're saying it's in its combined mode because it does come apart and you can have the individual Predacons. I will be fascinated to see if that's the case. I mean, that might change things. And if, as you say, if it's 12 inches tall rather than that kind of more masterpiece scale, I guess, kind of, huge size, then that
hmm.
might bring it more into a more affordable price bracket as well. But we just don't have the information yet to know. So yeah, be fascinating to
No,
find out though.
really would. Very beautiful, very very nice looking piece. I will wait and see, especially when we come to price point and things like that.
Yeah, yeah. Do we want to have a little chat quickly about the missing link reveal that we saw at the Shizuoka Hobby Show? So this was
Yes.
we have had obviously our two mini bots, Bumblebee and Cliffjumper, previously released. Lots of people have them, and I'm sure enjoy them. Takara have shown off a 2-pack of them, but this time done in an animation style, so based off the actual G1 cartoon for the toon lovers
Hmm.
such as yourself, Dave. So a different head sculpt for Bumblebee. I'm assuming it's a tweak to the maybe the paint job and the head sculpt for Cliffjumper to make it look
A cliff
slightly
jumper,
more
yeah.
toon than um than toy. It's difficult to see on the photo that we've had so far because these we've not had product shots at the time of recording this. Now I'm not sure. You see, I'm not sure how I would feel if I got the original ones. Do I want to drop more money on getting the toon versions, or would I have rather had the toon versions first? It's an interesting one, an interesting choice.
I totally understand, in this economy, I totally understand Takara wanting to get the most out of their molds.
Yeah.
Like, they've molded this thing, they have it. There's not a great deal you can do. I mean, yes, you can repaint Bumblebee for days. Giving somebody the cartoon accurate one, correct me if I'm wrong, but Missing Link Optimus Prime did get a toon version as well, didn't he?
He had yeah, the toy kind of paint job and then a toon paint job. Yeah, he did. So I suppose there's previous for this, isn't there?
And there are two RCs technically as well, aren't there? There is a Toon
Yeah.
RC and there is the prototype RC. So actually, you know what? I guess my argument doesn't hold any water whatsoever. Cool, have at it. Enjoy your Bumblebee with a
Yeah.
head.
I think that's what it's going to come down to is personal choice. I know that obviously Hasbro have done the retro Bumblebee and Gears, and they gave
Hmm.
Gears a toy accurate head because it comes as in the kind of original style toy packaging. But Bumblebee has the normal, or what we now think of as the normal cartoon style head, instead of the toy head
Hmm.
that he would have had when he was originally released. And I know some people were a bit disappointed by that because they wanted that toy head. So it's nice that Takara at least are giving people options. Um,
Yes.
yeah, it is what it is. Like you said, it's the repaint game. It's happened since 1984, so we can't be surprised that we're getting more of this. And I'm sure there will be people who will actually be really pleased and really happy that they're getting a Toon style Missing Link toy. I have the Missing Link Sentinel Prime. I absolutely love
Hmm.
that figure. Didn't really want it, wasn't really interested in it. Kind of felt like I had to try one after I had a fiddle with somebody's Missing Link Optimus Prime. I thought, you know what, I actually might need to get one. But I wanted something a bit different, so I got the Sentinel. And I do not
Hmm.
regret it whatsoever. It's a fantastic figure. I hope this Missing Link line carries on and we get some more. We know we're getting Sunstreaker after all. Um, so yeah, I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to seeing what we get with Missing Link.
Definitely the one line that's got the most wait and see potential.
Oh, definitely.
Uh,
Yeah.
and I think purely because of the RC release, you know, it's like, oh, okay. you're doing that this early in the line, then what else can this line be?
Exactly.
You know,
I
everybody's talking about Unicron. Like
exactly. Yeah, I
that's
was
sort of the big one.
just gonna say the same thing. Like, could we get that original prototype Unicron, but they've done in a missing link
Mm,
style? I think it's certainly one of the lines, if not the line, that amongst G1 fans has created the most buzz in terms of the conversations you can have about, oh, well, what could we get here? What could they do?
yeah.
Um, which is always exciting. We'll move on though. So we also got to see at the same show the combined form of the Age of the Primes Devastator, and although they didn't
Hmm.
have the two remaining uh, uh, unrevealed Constructicon figures there, they did have a backing board that had their silhouettes, so at least we have an idea of what they look like. And as a silhouette goes, they look like, the Constructicons we haven't had yet. But that's the first time, I
Definitely.
think you said as well, Dave. I think that's the first time we've had them all together in a way, yeah, even in the combined form.
In Devas, yeah, possibly. I mean, it's entirely possible. One of the Hasbro team has, posted Mark's perhaps posted a picture of it up there. But at this point, it's difficult to remember whether or not it's an artist's rendering we've seen or whatever. But yeah, they had Scavenger and Mixmaster at the show. So hey, guess what? In combined mode, they look like Scavenger and Mixmaster. They look like a leg and an arm.
Exactly.
So I am so excited for these guys now. Like I really really can't wait. I just think they look great, all of them.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah, I
just
agree.
very excited for them.
I mean, I still see a lot of people saying, well, "I've got Combiner Wars," or "I've got the Takara version of Combiner. I don't need this," and that's fine if you're happy with
Mm,
what you got. I think these look an improvement. Is it a massive improvement?
mm.
Arguable, but it's definitely an improvement in my opinion, and I'm looking forward to them a lot. And it's nice to see get a hint of what it's all going to look like when it comes together again.
I must admit, when it comes to that, I was of two minds because I was thinking to myself, well, I've got my Combiner Wars. Do I really need another Devastator? And the reality is that I thought to myself, well, actually, yes, because I despise the Combiner Wars for their individual robot modes because they're completely out of scale, but I like the Devastator. So I'm just going to keep both of them. And,
Yeah,
the Combiner Wars will stay as Devastator, and these will remain as the individual Constructicons because they're all nicely scaled.
makes perfect sense. I think that you'll probably find there's many people who do the same thing, Dave, and I think that'll work really, really
Yeah.
nicely.
Yeah.
We did also see MPG 18, MPG 17, Optimus Prime style Gen figure. It's called GEN. So it's
Mm.
another masterpiece Optimus Prime. I am not entirely sure what makes this a Gen figure, which I assume stands for generations, but I'm guessing it's based off some of the designs we've had in the Generations toy line over the years because he carries an axe that looks like one we've had before in that toy line. Um, how many times can you tweak an Optimus Prime and put another toy out there? The answer is infinite. And here we are with another one from Takara in masterpiece scale.
Yeah, and I noticed something on this photograph, which I don't know if you've seen it or not. If you look at Prime's arm behind his smokestack, he's got a 3 mil port, just like the Generations War for Cybertron Optimus Prime.
Ah, interesting.
And so I'm wondering, like, is that what this is supposed to be? Like, are we at a point now where they're creating stylized masterpiece figures of Transformers mainline figures that we had like 5 years ago?
Yeah, it definitely has a bit of that look and that feel to it. I don't think it's a bad looking Optimus Prime, don't get me wrong, but then again, how do you mess up Optimus Prime? Really? You know?
Well, that's it. My only regret with this Optimus Prime is that the head is more stylistic, the legs are more stylistic, they're more
Yeah.
curved than
Yes.
what you would traditionally expect. But then you get to the torso, and the torso is just bog standard Optimus Prime. And I sort of feel like I wish they'd taken this in a much like Predaking, a much more stylistic direction. Every 5 to 10 years, they're going to roll out another masterpiece Optimus Prime,
Yeah,
but it is, or it feels like, a little bit of diminishing returns at this point.
yeah. They did also reveal an MPG 18 hauler there as well. I mean, it's hauler. It's
Sure, why not?
it's like, yeah,
Like,
stand him next to your Constructicons, I suppose. Although it's a masterpiece scale, so it won't fit in. But it's there. Um, Again, some
yeah.
people might be massive fans of him. I think if it was me, I'd probably just get that Legacy Velocitron one rather than splashing it on the
I'm
MPG one.
I'm going to go out on a limb here and say there are no massive fans of Holler. I'm just throwing it
Yeah,
out
yeah.
there. Like, just
Probably not. I mean, I don't
really,
think he's.
yes.
Yeah.
Holler, no.
It,
Like,
that's terrifying to think there's probably more fans of Wheelie. And then Takara also showed off Adamus Machina Rodimus Lost Light version. So taking that toy that we talked about earlier and repainting it in Lost Light
Mhm,
colors. Now, this is where they may get me because I love that design of Rodimus and I love those
mhm.
colors. And I fear for my bank balance moving forwards. But it does look very very nice, and it does exactly what it says on the tin. It's Rodimus from the Lost Light, and it will, I assume, be transformable like the previous one they released. So it will transform into his crazy looking car mode, um, but really
Yeah.
nice. Those colours. And then I suppose the other news, of course, is blockies. Lots and lots of blockies. So we have had Galaxy version Wave 7
Hmm.
and Defender version Wave 3 that have all kind of
Yes.
been revealed by blockies with some fantastic photography for them. So are these things that you will personally be chasing up? Or like me, is this the wave of Galaxy where maybe you're not as desperate to get hold of them all?
Okay, so hold on. Let me preface this, right, by saying this. I totally believe that this line makes perfect sense if Transformers 1 had been like a massive success.
Yeah,
Okay. If Transformers 1 had been a massive success and everybody loved it and it was like it was $1 billion movie and stuff, this line makes perfect sense because this is the line that you put with the rest of your wave 4 uh Transformers 1 line and you have a complete Galaxy Transformers 1 set. Cool, because it's got, your Optimus Prime, your Elita 1, your Shockwave, your Starscream, your Soundwave, Alpha Trion. It's got all of the big characters that you would want. However, and again, this is just me speculating here, but I suspect this might be the last wave of Blocky's Transformers 1 figures we get. And if it is, I'm a little bit disappointed because I wanted characters like Jazz in this set. I wanted characters that were more background. Again, much like in the first wave where we got Hound and we got Ironhide and we got the Cogless. Those were the ones that I sort of wanted because those are the ones that I don't think we're ever going to get like in toy form. So if it does turn out that this is the last wave of Transformers 1, it is going to be a little bit disappointing. However, I can totally understand why they made the decisions that they did. And overall, yeah, I think I will be picking this wave up because ultimately I do want the Alpha Trion and I do like the look of the Elita 1 and the Soundwave. However, because these are also being done in the larger scale, the classics, I'm not entirely sure whether or not I would lean towards them as opposed to leaning towards the Galaxy line. So maybe this line might be the first one where I'm like, actually, I'm just going to pick and choose the figures that I want rather than going all in.
yeah, yeah. I get that totally. It's more difficult, of course, to do that because obviously being blind boxed and everything, you You've got to have the luck of the draw of getting the ones you want, unless you've got somebody who's got duplicates or wants to swap or whatever. I
Well,
think
that's it. That's
I
it.
do think that there will potentially be one more wave of these just for those kind of minor background characters that you mentioned. I think that would be,
Mm,
they could eke out one more wave from this, but obviously we'd have to see. Um, and then the
yeah.
Defender versions, the Defender versions are really fun little versions of blockies, and the Wave 3
Hmm.
ones look really nice as well. Um, yeah, it's I don't know. I heard people in the past saying, "Oh well, the blockies gravy train. It's going to slow down the popularity of." I haven't seen anything to indicate that so far. I mean, people are still absolutely
No,
loving these little figures, and I think I'm right in saying that in this Defender version we get our first 86 bot, other than Magnus that we've had previously.
I was going to say, yeah, besides Magnus, we're finally getting Hot Rod,
Yeah,
and he looks great.
yeah,
Like, he
yeah.
looks really, really cool. And to be honest, he is sort of the one in this particular wave where I'm like, yep, cool, I'm down for that. I'm buying it just for that. Uh, that little guy, he looks great, and Grimlock looks cool as well. Like, I really
Yeah,
like Grimlock,
yeah. And yeah,
and
the Grimlock and the Soundwave I actually really like.
yeah, let's talk a little bit about that Soundwave as well.
Oh
That just
yeah.
dropped, the Action Edition Soundwave. Oh my god! Like,
It's very nice looking, and of course comes with
yeah.
is it 3 tapes? Oh, which has caused some controversy, but we'll get onto that in a moment. I
Oh,
think. Well,
controversy.
amongst some, um, because obviously it's come with Laserbeak, which I believe is a
Hmm.
Cybertronian-looking Laserbeak, and it
Yes.
comes with Ravage, and the Ravage I think is a really nice looking version of Ravage, and then it comes with a
Hmm.
little blue cassette bot, which apparently is listed as Rumble. And as we know within our fandom, there is often a debate as to whether that is the correct naming for that particular bot. Um, but to me,
Yes.
I'm a comic guy, and I still think Rumble's blue because
Mm.
I remember him more from the cartoon, and he was blue than kind of the comic and the toy
Mm.
element of it. I can hear people little shouting "You're wrong," but as I say, a little bit of controversy over that. But what a fantastic looking
Mm.
Soundwave he is!
Oh, absolutely stunning. In fact, this Action Edition Soundwave has cost Hasbro money because I have cancelled my Preceptor pre-order to get Ratbat because that Ratbat looks awesome and I want that
Yeah,
Ratbat.
yeah.
Like, you know. So
Hasbro will be
yeah,
fuming.
if I had if I had one gripe, if I could say, I wish, the only thing that I would have said was, bearing in mind that we got Laserbeak with Megatron, which is why we're not getting him here in his Earth mode or his Condor mode, but instead we're getting his Cybertronian mode, which is cool. But I would have preferred Buzzsaw.
Yeah, I knew it.
Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know, and you're not the only one.
simple. However, if you're going to do a Sound Blaster,
Oh
like
yeah,
12 months down the line, and you're going to give me Frenzy, you're going to give me, Buzzsaw, you whatever it might be. Yeah, okay. Like, and then who were the other two tapes? The
yeah.
Stegosaurus,
Yeah, was it
um
Slugfest or something like that?
Slugfest Nova Kill.
That's
That's it.
right, Overkill. That was the
Yeah.
dinosaur type one
If we
T Rexy.
yeah, if we're going to get that like 12 months down the line, then I'm perfectly happy to wait for it. But also, as well, that Rumble, look at all the accessories that he comes
Yeah,
with. He comes with the drill hands, he comes with the again, if this is priced at the same price as that Megatron, it's it's the deal of the century right now. There's
it,
nothing better in terms of value for money out there than these action editions.
It looks like an absolute bargain when you look at everything that comes with it. I'll be really interested to see what
Hmm.
the price is. But even if it is, slightly more expensive, £5 more, I think a lot of people will still be more than happy to pay that because it looks
Yeah,
fantastic. Um, yeah,
yeah,
great looking
absolutely.
soundwave.
Yeah. And that's going to do it for the toy news this week. Again, let us know what you think about this. It's a different one for us to talk about the news. Hopefully, you all enjoy it. Give us your comments. Let us know what you're excited for down below. And in the meantime, remember to give this video a like, hit that subscribe button if you want to see more, and stay tuned because Andy and I later on this week have got another video that is going to be dropping where we're going to be talking about the evil T word, and we're not talking about Tyrannosaurus Rexes. I don't know where I was going with
Are we not? Oh no.
that one. No, we're not talking about T
All
Rexes.
that wasted research.
Exactly, that's it. So, yeah. Great. Well, listen, thanks everybody again for watching. Say goodbye, Andy.
Goodbye, everyone.
And we'll catch you all later. Bye.